Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We're coming to you live here from Gen Con 2019, bringing you all the board game coverage all week long. As usual, I'm Matt,
I'm Josh.
and this is our first impression session of our Spotlight stream that we just completed of City of the Big Shoulders.
I kind of wanted to pick up the box, but the box is all
It's
the way
too
over
far
there.
away.
It's
City of
way
the Big
too far.
Shoulders by Parallel Games. If you haven't had a chance to watch our Spotlight of City of the Big Shoulders, go check it out now.
Go check
on
up the VOD.
Check out the Bacon Monopoly.
The bacon Monopoly.
That Josh
we
made.
did some startup bacon companies, and they were artisanal bacons back in the early 1900s.
Yeah,
'Cause that's a thing.
I feel like you're not doing the game justice with that, though.
We had a lot of fun playing
we
it. Is
definitely
what I'm
did.
trying to say,
Yeah.
and we built our own little fun, silly story with it.
Yeah.
And before we even get it's fun when you can just kind of build a silly story when you're playing the game, like to put some logic behind everything.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, I'm buying this company to do this and this and this, and it doesn't fit the time period, but who
Whatever.
cares? We're
It's
having
funny.
fun, and it's funny, and it's amusing, and that's the point of games, to have fun when you play them, right?
Yeah. So, what kind of game is City of the Big Shoulders?
So Raymond kind of said it was kind of like an 18xx game,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, but it's a really heavy resource. It's a economic game with a lot of resource management, some worker placement, just a lot of little different parts. It's a good Euro.
Yeah, it's a good Euro. So, the game itself is set in Chicago, post Great Chicago Fire, pre Great Depression.
So you're playing like right after Chicago Fire up to the Great Depression. So that little time period of when Chicago boomed.
Right.
And a lot of cool companies got built, like the Cracker Jack Company.
Or Spalding.
I don't know Spalding really.
They make baseballs.
The
Yeah,
baseball-
they're
that's-
Spalding. And the
okay.
basketballs. The Swift Company, which became Armor.
Yeah.
Like it's a bunch of real companies, and they used a lot of historical facts and accuracies in this game, which I thought was super cool.
And they have a cool little background story behind them.
And so it's
really cool.
it's about the companies. So in this game, you're building these companies, you're managing workers, you're buying resources, you're investing in the
Go to
stock
the board game real
market.
quick, just to So we got workers here that are the marketplace people buy. These are buildings we build to do actions. This is the market to sell your resources. Just and then this is your stock price list.
This is
There's a lot of things going on over here, but it's cool, and it all makes sense once you know the rules. And
This is an influence track here where
Yeah.
you're going to be getting extra things as you go up, so you become more famous. Your company gets bigger
yeah,
and
Matt
better.
was real a big deal kind of.
Yeah, I was kind of a big deal at the
It's
end
kind of
there.
big deal at the end.
But I lost. It's fine. My company was a big deal, but I was not. So with this game was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into our first impression. If you haven't seen a first impression before, we talk about our favorite aspects of the game, then any constructive criticisms we might have, and then the final and most important part of would we play this game again. So first up, we're going to talk about favorite aspects of the game. I like that there's a lot going on, but it doesn't feel overwhelming.
No,
so
you have very limited choices
right,
when you can do something.
right.
And the choices build up as the game goes on. So as you get a better feel for the game, you get
It
more
ramps,
comfortable with
yeah.
the choices, and the choices kind of get better as it ramps. So you're like, oh, here's the better choices, but you might still want to do some of those early on choices that were there. So as you build more buildings, so each round we build buildings, there's more options. It increases it grows each round.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you kind of look at all right, these are my options. What could I do? This is cool, and things like that. Yeah.
So I liked also I picked it up pretty quickly, and I tried to do some atypical things in in the playthrough.
That's what we like to do sometimes.
Yeah, I want to try and
just
poke around.
so people
in
know.
games.
Since we play a lot of games, we kind of go with we pick a strategy or something let's try this just because. Hey, this is our first time playing it, so let's see how this works, and let's see how let's see if I do this. Is it still going to be fun, or we're going to do something weird? So we both kind of did our. I didn't play my normal worker placement.
No, you didn't. You didn't get all your workers right away.
Yeah, that's the if you ever watch me play walk, or if you ever play worker placement with me or ever do it, I go to get all my workers as quickly as I can. I was actually lagging behind everyone. I had the least amount of workers.
You didn't get all your workers until the very last turn of the game, and you couldn't even use it.
I didn't even get that one.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't even get your very last one.
I had 3 out of the 5, and the third one you get for free.
Yeah. you weren't even going for it. So one of the suggested things was to go for 2 to 3 companies. I tried to go a different route. I went with one. I tried to
Yeah.
build one mega company here. Then you're supposed to be buying stock in companies to go up, and I'm just like, I'm going to sell all of my stock in one of the biggest companies to purposefully try and cut its knees out from under it, and reinvest it in the smaller companies.
Yeah.
Which it went against me, but
It did.
it was something
it
I
actually
wanted
let
to try.
me boost up.
Yeah.
Even more.
Yeah, it did.
I got to recover from it. So,
But I thought that was really interesting.
no,
There.
I like the whole stock thing.
Yeah.
And like I kind of did something like I metagamed a little bit, but I was like, Raymond, you're playing the Raymond who is the owner of Parallel Games,
And the creator of the game
the creator of
itself.
the game,
Yeah.
was playing with us. So I was like, I'm gonna invest in your companies, Raymond, because I think I know what you're doing. So even as a newbie, you can be like, oh, if you're playing with someone experienced, you can be like, I'm gonna kind of hedge my bets on you and kind of invest in you, which is really cool. One of the cool things that we didn't get to play with. But in the advanced rules, you can actually do like hostile takeovers of other companies and stuff, which is really, really, and you can get really cutthroat. And it's not something you do a lot in a Euro game. Is get that
Right.
that
You don't
kind
get
of
that kind of player interaction,
Yeah.
cutthroaty, backstabbiness to it.
And this allowed for it, which I thought was amazing and awesome. And I'm a little sad we didn't get to play the rules. There's one point where Raymond would have taken full ownership of my company that I started with because he had more. And we ended up having equal shares, so it didn't really matter. I would have got my ownership back, but it was cool. You can do hostile takeovers and things like that, and just like, no. Or you can just like really burn someone's company and things like that, and be like, oh no, that's that. You're stuck with that now. So
yeah, and that's what I was trying to go for a little bit there.
Yeah.
But no, some really cool things there. And there's a couple turns too where I thought that I might have been stuck with something, and Raymond's like, oh no, there's this option on the board here where you can do that, mitigate some of your turn there, so it's not a complete waste of your character. So I thought that was really neat.
I also like the whole theme of the game is really cool. The name of the game and how everything is like it was all based off the poem, right?
It's based off of a poem by Carl Sandburg about Chicago. I think the poem is called Chicago, and he refers to it as the city of the big shoulders.
Yeah.
And the rest of the tagline of the game, which is eluding me right now, but that's part.
But he
of
talks
the
about all the resources, which are these actual resources here.
Yeah.
The markets and stuff, which is really cool. But the cool thing is, like, you start off after this thing, and there's like a little bit of demand. The demand grows as the economy grows, and then we hit the depression. As that happens, we lose these tiles, and there's all this demand goes away because
all of a sudden you can't sell stuff. You don't get that $50 bonus for selling here because you can't even sell here. And then all of a sudden, like, people have so many goods that they're generating that they're flooding the market, and then all of a sudden, you can only sell your goods for half price.
Yeah. And you just kind of get like a little, well, not quite screwed, but like the thematic of how that whole era happened is really cool. And I thought that was really cool.
No, absolutely, and and it kind of goes against how a lot of those games have just that ramp, the pure ramp the entire time, and this has the ramp, the level, and then it just drops off a cliff at the end, which is actually really interesting to see, and the game definitely rewards you for diversifying in your portfolio, and I love the way the automation helped out your companies too, where you can kick the workers out, but it makes the workers cheaper for everyone else to buy, but then your automation's more efficient, so you get more goods that you're generating from your company. So it's just really cool the different way that all of these things interacted with each other in a real world way, and played on those historical accuracies as well to really drive a common feel to the game.
Typically with a lot of Euros, you have the feeling that something got there was a theme tapped on.
Right.
This
could
really
be anything.
This is so integrated into like everything, and just it's done so well.
Yeah.
The arts, it gives you that
it fits
early 1900s, late 1800s feel.
Well, if you look, it's a silhouette of a map in the background.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a map of Chicago.
Yeah, it's a map of
at
Chicago.
that time.
Yeah.
So one of the cool stories, Scott, if you look back in our archives, like 2 Gen Cons ago, we did an interview with Raymond.
Yeah.
Like before this hit Kickstarter, and like we got to talk about it. So like we've kind of got to see like
the evolution of this
evolution, which is cool. So yeah, that was.
And then there's the expansion that got added on as well. So these we're playing the money cards we're playing with are expansion material.
That's paper money in the original.
Yeah.
There's some other upgraded component. It's kind of like just an upgrade.
It's an upgrade pack plus you get additional companies.
Yeah, some additional companies, which is cool.
Yeah. All right. So, anything else you want to talk about that you really enjoyed about the game?
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. I think I hit my high points there.
Yeah,
Um,
we can kind of keep
yeah,
going on and
we'll
on with
just keep
that,
going. But
but
no, Matt and I had a lot of fun with this game.
yeah, absolutely.
And
Which is actually interesting because it's very much out of our wheelhouse.
we don't play too many
Yeah.
Euro issue style games. This was just the right level of everything, where the most thinky part was the math, and we just kind of let Raymond do a lot of that. And you started kind of, I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't care now.
It's also late in the day, so during the day, and we probably should have had our phones out with the calculators and
Yeah.
sucked it up. But now moving on to the constructive criticism portion. So this is where we talk about aspects of the game that we would alter, change, given the opportunity, with the caveat of this is our first time playing it, so take it with a grain of salt. I know something you're going to say, so I'm going to toss it to you first.
Okay. First thing is, I had issues being colorblind with the resource cubes and reading the cards. And it might partially be because of the studio lighting. The studio lighting makes things a little bit harder to see and the glare and all that, but it's not. They weren't super colorblind friendly. Is all the cubes are just
You're trying to, like,
like
which one here?
just kind of just like glance over them all, just kind of like
Oh, that is really washed out, and I don't know why.
the exposure on there.
All right, so like the pink and the pink's a little darker on the sheet than it is in real life, which kind of makes it a little more challenging. And then I know you were having problems, like I was having problems actually differentiating the black and the brown cubes on the board.
Yeah.
Highly reflective board, highly reflective cubes with the big studio lighting on it kind of makes that slightly difficult.
Makes it a little difficult. It would have been nice, maybe even if it's just the upgrade pack was these, or what are these resources? The black's coal.
Yeah.
The brown's wood. So they have the logs, and like the little shaped meeples, shaped wood cubes would have been really cool. And then have done the same thing on the art. Would have been a nice little tweak, or use letters or something, just to make it more colorblind friendly. Because right now, even if some people can see the color, just putting that label in there makes it a little bit better. That was my biggest gripe. What else? I felt a little, and it was probably my play style, and I did things wrong since I didn't have as many. What's the proper word for them?
The partners.
The partners.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough partners to really do enough actions later in the game, and that's a fault on me for not
Getting your partners unlocked.
getting my partners unlocked. And I got stuck on one round where I couldn't buy the market. The market was tricky.
Yeah.
As I couldn't buy the resources I needed, and I had so much freaking cash it didn't matter, but I couldn't get the resources I needed because it wasn't available.
So maybe having the ability to flush the market with a certain amount of cash on your
Or
turn.
even if it was like $70, you could buy whatever you want, like
super high dollar value.
Super high dollar value. Just be like, yeah, no, you're going to import this from wherever, and you'll get it. Because I didn't care about like how much it cost, because I didn't have issues with cash with my companies.
Yeah.
My companies had a lot of funding. They did very well for themselves, and I had probably between my three companies probably $2,500 in cash. Like not joke. Like there was a lot of cash in my companies, which was funny with the whole game and stuff like that. So that was like the biggest thing.
Yeah, for me, I think my biggest thing is I actually had the opposite problem. I had a cash flow problem into my company, so I was kind of flush for cash. Not flush for cash. I was starving for cash pretty much the entire time, and I was a couple times where I found myself stuck of not being able to do something because I was a couple dollars short here and there.
Yeah.
Poor management on my part.
Yeah.
But
it's our first game, so
yeah, first game, and like that's one of the criticisms that I have, but it's not really a criticism. Is that this game definitely takes at least one full playthrough for you to get everything that's going on. I felt comfortable halfway through. But by that time, you couldn't really play catch up, especially when you're playing with the game designer.
Yeah.
And he's kind of kicking your ass, and he's saying that, this is a bad score for me. So.
Well, so one of the things that how the market worked was it thematically doesn't make much sense. It's like with my one company, I'm gonna buy extra resources to refresh the market to make it better for my other companies on their turn.
Yeah.
Just because I think if the market refreshed back to full on each spot, and then if there was just two cubes, it just stayed. I think that was the issue. Like there was no, unless it's emptied out, the market didn't really
Yeah,
refresh.
people weren't going for like until later in the game. No one was really going for the coal resources. I think
Yeah,
early on, so we were having not a lot of things refresh in the beginning because people weren't buying the coal.
yeah, it just wasn't getting bought, so there was not a lot of refreshing, and it made it difficult. And you could do buy two of any kind and do it, but there was just like, all right, there's only so much I can do. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't enough resources for me to buy two of each to get it. I think that was the issue. It was like one and one, and I needed two resources. I'm just like I can't do it.
I really don't have many other complaints. I mean, some of it that I had was with the symbology, but then they included the quick reference guide,
I
which
to be honest, I didn't even like my
I
quick
didn't
reference
look at
guide.
it. I didn't look at it at all.
And
So that's I should have looked at it, but this is here to make things easier for you
yeah,
in case you forget.
we had Raymond, so he kind of just ran through
Yeah,
everything.
and mostly it was in reference to these symbols here, for who pays whom on the different building cards and the actions that you're taking and stuff like that. Um,
No, it was.
I don't
It's
really.
a pretty solid game.
Yeah,
Um, and the issues we might have ran, which might have been atypical issues, I don't know. And there might be some other issues when you play it different ways. But no,
you can tell that the game has a lot of polish to it. They've definitely ironed out a lot of any sort of kinks that they would have had, and it plays very, very cleanly, without a lot of confusion for a Euro with so many different options of what you're going to be
one
doing.
thing I'm just curious of why some of these numbers are bolded. That was
Yeah,
curious.
that's a good
Just
question.
I think it's just design.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing special, but
All right, and then so moving on into the final portion here
Yeah.
of would you play this game again?
yeah, we're taking this home and we're gonna
Yeah,
play at
we're,
some point.
we're definitely going to be playing this game
I
again.
think Anne's gonna quite enjoy this.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be right up her alley. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Alrighty, so that concludes
And
it there.
Matt,
There's 2 thumbs up.
what's up?
I'm definitely going to play it again. Yeah, 100%.
You just kind of agreed with me, but
Oh,
never
yeah.
said yes. I'm gonna play.
Oh,
this
no,
again."
yeah, I said we're playing this
Yes.
again. So with that, though, that's going to conclude our first impression session here. Again, if you haven't had the chance to watch our spotlight stream of City of the Big Shoulders, definitely go and take a look and watch it on video on demand. One last time, we'd like to say thank you to City of the Big Shoulders and Parallel Games for sponsoring this stream and all of this week's streams here at Gen Con 2019. Signing off for now, though, I'm Matt.
I'm Josh.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.